Welcome to another episode of Bourbon and Data Breaches, where we cover 5 of the most interesting breaches from this last week. I'm Steve.
I'm Connor.
And I'm Frank.
Well, this week, you get a breach, and you get a breach, and you get a breach, from baguettes to birth dates. Starting off with number 1, Hy-Vee, groceries and passport numbers, please. X, ransomware, snagged passports, emails, KYC docs, and even birth dates.
Another grocery store, supermarket related breach a couple weeks ago. There was a supply chain attack within the grocery store industry. It looks like the storm came for the watermelons and stayed for the social security numbers on this one. Surprised to see passports show up. Maybe that's more focused on employees as opposed to consumers of Hy-Vee. I'm not sure why they have passports, but definitely another identity issue, social engineering potential issues coming out of this. So, you might think there's not much going on when there's, a grocery store, but this is a large supermarket chain. A lot going on, a lot of people involved, a lot of consumers, a lot of employees, and I'm sure a lot of data.
I just want to know what you have to buy at the grocery store to where they need to scan your passport and save it on their systems.
Yeah.
Is that a gallon of vodka? I'm assuming it's alcohol related.
I think a gallon's a normal amount. But yeah, I wonder, you mentioned KYC. How well are they knowing their customers if they got the passports?
You don't usually expect a supermarket to end up leaking stuff like passports and KYC docs. But here we are. A little malware on someone's computer turns into more than 50 gigs of personal data in the hands of some random ransomware gang. It doesn't look like it was a complicated hack, just bad luck, bad hygiene, maybe both. And the worst part is, once that kind of data is out, there's no going back. Someone somewhere is going to use it, and Hy-Vee won't even know until it's too late.
Moving on to story number 2, Aflac, the duck can't save you now. Breach put social security numbers and health records at risk. This was reported by their SEC filing, but also by Stock Titan, because nothing says peace of mind like hearing your cancer policy is being sold on a Telegram group.
Yeah, I think every time I see the old Aflac duck on commercials going forward, I'll be thinking of this. I believe the word on the street is that this was an attack from Scattered Spider, which is interesting. If you look at what they've been doing, they've really made a name for themselves last year with some large entertainment attacks. Earlier this year, they took down some very large UK-based retailers, and now moving on to US-based insurance. There's another large insurance company they hit around the same time as Aflac. So interesting group to keep our eyes on, very social engineering heavy, and they seem to be very targeted in the region and industries they are going after. So definitely know a lot of folks are on high alert regarding this group. Aflac, a household name, just like a lot of the other companies that they've been attacking. And also wonder who Aflac gets their cyber insurance from.
From Aflac.
They
insure themselves.
Like we often see, Aflac said there was unauthorized activity, which is a nice way of saying something bad happened, but we don't want to tell you what. They're definitely trying to keep it quiet, but we all know being vague doesn't help. It just makes people more suspicious. So if you're in the insurance business and people start thinking you're hiding things, that could turn into a bigger problem than the breach itself.
Moving on to story number 3, Disneyland Paris, a Magic Kingdom meltdown. Anubis ransomware claims that they breached Disneyland Paris. If true, it's the darkest ride that Disneyland Paris has ever launched.
Yeah, I wonder if Anubis got payment on this one or not. I don't know if Mickey Mouse negotiates with a terrorist or not. This is another very household name brand, right? Very tourist-based hospitality, a lot of international operations here when you're talking about, Disneyland Paris. Definitely puts a reputational risk on this. As a customer going to theme park, I don't think you ever imagine that whatever data you're giving them could be stolen, lost, and weaponized against you. But that's the reality of the world we live in today.
Disneyland Paris has everything from hotels to rides to dining, a lot of hospitality, restaurants. You got to imagine they have a lot of systems in the back. This is a sad one. Think of all the kids, they're going to Disneyland. Now they can't because of Anubis. Imagine you're a parent, you have to explain that ransomware canceled your Disneyland holiday.
That's a fun conversation.
Well, the one that gives way to jokes. Ransomware at Disneyland. Sounds like some side formation of Panic at the Disco or something. Truth is, big brands still have messy IT behind the scenes, right? Doesn't matter how magical the front looks, there will always be a bunch of old servers and burnout admins in the back. If this one's real, it's going to hit harder than usual, especially if there's data from families or kids involved. It's a kind of reach that sticks, not just technically, but emotionally. You know, it's not just numbers in a file, it's trust. Like Mickey Mouse smiling at you while running away with your cotton candy.
Moving right along to Covenant Health. Ransomware in the ICU. This one brought to us by Quillen, allegedly broken a Covenant Health, exposing sensitive hospital data and patient records.
Okay, so Quillen hit Covenant Health, not just a small clinic, but a whole regional healthcare network with hospitals, rehab centers, senior care, and more. And the worst part, it isn't just a leak of patient data or coverage records. It's the total lack of shame behind it. Like, this is not just some chaotic, faceless attack. These people are organized. By the way, did you know Quillen now offers call a lawyer button in their dashboard? This is fun. This is not a joke. Now affiliates can get legal support mid-extortion. I mean, it's supposed to help them negotiate better or maybe scare the victim a little thrill to the whole process. I don't know. We have officially entered the era of ransomware as a service now with customer support, the hospital's on life support, and the attackers offering legal advice. What we are even doing.
So, is the call a lawyer button for the hacker or for the person being ransomed? Because if the hacker needs to call a lawyer, I don't feel like that's a normal part of ransoming. I don't think lawyers help you extort money, allegedly.
Well, depends on where that lawyer is and what their motives are. My guess is that button just calls someone at Quillen directly, and they pose the lawyer to further their agenda. As you mentioned, Frank, large healthcare organization. I think they have over 10,000 employees, a lot of locations, a lot of services offered, and ransomware can directly impact data, operations, and life-saving support potentially, which seems like there used to be less attacks against things like hospitals and things that would affect children, kind of seemed like a somewhat off-limit zone, but now it's just fully go for it for a lot of these ransomware gangs.
Well, the ones that had those rules are not the leading gangs anymore.
Ransomware as a
Clop
service.
Clop ransoms a few hundred people in a month, and then they just go back on holiday. Clop feels like a part-time gig.
Make their money, take their vacation, do it on repeat.
Yep.
So ransomware as a service, I mean, obviously we know it's been growing massively, but wow, they've got their own ransomware as a service legal department now. That's crazy.
Who do the lawyers bill?
I guess I'm sure they take a piece of the extortion payment, probably at a 15%
In what
cut.
jurisdiction? Oh boy.
I'm not going to say any countries.
Here I have it. Quillen actively advertises its legal assistance feature, which the group introduced in the latest version of its RAAS program. Cyberisa translated a note posted on the group's dark web forum, which explained the feature further. If you need legal consultation regarding your target, simply click the Call Lawyer button located within the target interface, and our legal team will contact you privately to provide qualified legal support, the Quillen note said. The mere appearance of a lawyer in the chat can exert indirect pressure on the company and increase their ransom amount, as companies want to avoid legal proceedings, the group continued. The benefits of working with the Quillen legal department were outlined as the following. Well, blah, blah, blah. There's more, but that's pretty much it.
All right. Moving right along. Ransomware group Underground allegedly broke into Gmore's, a Taiwanese manufacturing company. The group claimed they stole everything from corporate secrets to identity docs. They are a sealing solution manufacturer tied to critical supply chains.
Yeah, they were able to produce physical seals, but unable to seal their security defenses. Large manufacturer, seems like they have some large supply chain ties as well, so very well could be a targeted attack from a supply chain perspective, maybe something like industrial espionage. Likely not just corporate data that was compromised here, right? We're seeing obviously corporate secrets, but also identity docs. Again, I'm sure there's some supply chain information in there as well. Interested to see if there's any more fallout from this from the supply chain perspective, espionage perspective, but definitely an interesting attack.
They specialize in making O-rings.
We probably already made a couple of those after this.
Final thoughts for the day. This week had it all: grocery chains, leaking KYC, ducks under fire, ransomware in your roller coaster, and the silent hum of geopolitics through a gasket supplier. Cyber criminals are more diversified than your 401k. Which one shocked you the most? Until next time.